Hello and welcome to another Century 21 Tech Talk briefing with me, Jeff Tracy. In this briefing, I'll be providing details about the operation and technical specifications of the Sidewinder. The Sidewinder is the prototype for the Junglecat series of all-terrain transport walkers used by the U.S. Army. It was developed in response to the increasing number of so-called bushfire wars occurring on the African continent. The Sidewinder is one of the largest land vehicles ever designed by the U.S. military. With its forward grabs fully extended, the craft is 295 feet in length, and standing fully upright, it measures 100 feet in height. When carrying a full payload, the Sidewinder weighs 500 tons. Despite its huge bulk, the Sidewinder is able to move at a maximum speed of 50 miles per hour, thanks to its innovative gyroscopically controlled motion system. Each of the four legs incorporates a series of hydraulics for maximum mobility and stability. The footpads at the base of the legs are sturdy and provide ideal support for the machine. Two highly dexterous grabs are positioned at the front of the Sidewinder. These powerful multi-purpose tools are primarily used to clear obstacles, such as trees or rubble, out of the machine's path. They can be positioned to almost any angle and have an individual lifting capacity of 75 tons. Several weapons batteries are positioned on the top, sides, and base of this Sidewinder. The cannons can fire standard artillery or crowd control rounds such as X9 suppression gas. The remainder of the machine's hull is covered with armor plating, which provides protection from direct assault, heat, and radiation. The Sidewinder has an optimum operational crew of 30 enlisted recruits, but can be crewed with just 3 personnel during training exercises. Relief crew are transferred by helijet to the Sidewinder's location at the end of each exercise. The Sidewinder is operated from the control room located at the front of the machine. The control room is state-of-the-art and features ergonomically designed interfaces with remote links to all key systems and emergency backups. The Sidewinder may be called on to operate in extremes of temperature, in the hottest deserts or harshest Arctic wastes. To make life bearable for the crew in these vastly different operating environments, the Sidewinder is fitted with an adaptive heating and cooling plant, powered by the same fusion reactor that supplies the rest of the machine. This air conditioning system automatically keeps the temperature on board within set parameters, unless it is overridden. As an addition to the shock dampening system built into the machine's legs, the Sidewinder also features Gravimex floor plating. This proprietary technology acts in a similar manner to the artificial gravity plating on board Thunderbird 3 and Thunderbird 5. If the Sidewinder's positioning sensors detect the craft moving past a preset angle, such as when advancing up a steep incline, the Gravimex plating will engage automatically, keeping the crew upright, regardless of the machine's orientation. Now that we've discussed the Sidewinder itself, let me tell you how International Rescue came to be involved on a mission to rescue the machine. After the successful completion of an early training exercise under the command of Colonel Sweeney, the Sidewinder was en route to rendezvous with the relief crew, when the ground beneath it gave way and the machine tumbled into a burning underground pit. The crew weren't seriously injured by the initial fall, but the Sidewinder lay 300 feet below the surface and had landed on its side, with no way to right itself. Overseeing the operation, U.S. Army General Peters ordered an attempt to salvage the stricken machine by lowering a cable and attaching it to one of the Sidewinder's legs. Unfortunately, the attempt failed, and the Army personnel involved were badly burned. The hull was starting to crack, and the air purification system was failing. The situation was desperate. General Peters sent out a direct call requesting International Rescue's urgent assistance, and I dispatched Scott, Virgil, and Brains to the danger zone. Arriving in the desert, the boys assessed the situation, and Brains determined that the pit had once been an underground waste dump, for surplus military equipment, which had spontaneously combusted over time. For the Sidewinder and its crew to be safely hauled from the pit, the remaining unstable topsoil of the edge of the crater needed to be removed. The Army readied their helijet, and Virgil, in his fire-resistant suit, was lowered down into the pit in order to lay demolition charges. The theory was that the charges would blast away the topsoil and provide access for the heavy rescue gear. Next, the mole was quickly unloaded from Thunderbird 2's pod, and with Scott at the controls, the drilling operation began. Boring down into the earth, Scott received navigation information from Brains, and on full power, the mole soon emerged into the bottom of the pit. Having placed all of the demolition charges, Virgil boarded the mole and took up the rear cabin position as Scott reversed course and brought the craft back to the surface. When the mole was safely out of range, Brains detonated the charges, and their explosive force blasted the remaining topsoil layer away from the edge of the crater. With the obstructions clear, Virgil piloted one of the International Rescue Recovery vehicles out of the pod. A second remote-controlled vehicle followed behind, and they made their way to the side of the pit. Once in position, Virgil fired the magnetic clamps from both vehicles, and they attached to the hull of the Sidewinder. Utilizing incredible traction and raw power, the recovery vehicles began to haul the Sidewinder clear. Each moment brought the crew closer to safety, but it was a hard-fought battle. However, he was able to haul the Sidewinder free at last, and the crew were taken to hospital, where they made a full recovery. The disaster aside, the Sidewinder proved to be a formidable machine, and the Army have improved its design over time. From the lessons learned during the operation in which we were involved, they have even incorporated hoverjets in the underside of the Junglecat machines to further reduce the chance of a critical stability failure. And that brings us to the end of the file. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Sidewinder, and I'll see you soon for another Tech Talk briefing. FAB.